And we are seeing more and more companies pursuing opportunities here, which is really great to see. 2023 was a really big year in terms of promotions around the entry into force of the free trade agreement. There's also been campaigns to raise the awareness of brand New Zealand across tech, agri-tech, and of course our food and beverage and consumer good categories. So, of course, personally, I'd love more, companies to be taking up the opportunity in the UK. But look, we are making steady progress, and there's a whole lot of Kiwi companies doing extraordinary things over here, and we can be really proud of that. Tech remains the fastest growing sector by company numbers, and there's real momentum building in key areas like accountancy tech, health tech, and of course, agri-tech. And we're seeing some really what I'd call high growth, high potential companies emerging and doing some great things here. And I think the Brits are really starting to sit up and take notice of the tech solutions that are coming out of New Zealand. We've seen some really positive signs from our beef exporters. Obviously, they've got new access under the free trade agreement for beef. And based on current forecasts, it actually looks like we're going to meet the full year one quota, which is great. They're also taking the initiative to position New Zealand beef at that real premium end. So we've got New Zealand Wagyu, we've got aged beef coming into the market, and they're also in the pipeline. They've got a whole lot of digital brand development work that we'll see coming into force as well. Dairy exporters, believe it or not, despite the competitive nature of dairy in the UK, they've really risen to the challenge of this market, bringing what I'd call, value add dairy ingredients into that, UK food processing sector. And we're starting to get the sense that there are opportunities, especially as retailers look to, meet their sustainability goals, especially around decarbonisation. So the primary exporters that really can prove those sustainability credentials, we do see opportunities for those in the retail and manufacturing sector in the UK. Lastly, we've got some really exciting brand-led companies, the likes of Emma Lewisham, Rod and Gun, the Collective Dairy Company. They're really starting to make waves here. The Collective Dairy Company, for example, was voted in the top 10 sustainable brands in the UK last year. So an amazing achievement by Sarah Smart and the team there. Emma Lewisham secured a ranging with the prestigious Space NK. And we saw Rod and Gun with a really ambitious campaign through John Lewis stores around the Christmas time last year. So a real superb effort from the Rod and Gun team as well. The UK remains in the headlines for all the wrong reasons when it comes to its economy. As you know, the outlook is weak and probably best describe the UK economy as in a vulnerable position. But most economists still see positive GDP, 0.5% is the forecast for 24. And, but being on the ground here, especially in London, you don't get a sense of the doom and gloom that you get in the headlines. And there are some good news stories that are out there. And I think one that I'd like to highlight is that, the occupancy rate of hotels in London through the festive season was the highest they've been since December 2018. So we're seeing a real strong recovery in terms of London hotel occupancy, which is flowing on into the hospitality sector. And again, if you're in London over Christmas and New Year, and you would have noticed a real, buzz in the air. The Red Sea issue is, of course, of concern. We're starting to see freight prices increase again. There's early indications that the constraints around supply chains and that the buyers are starting to brace themselves for further impacts there. So that's definitely one to watch. Another one I'd like to highlight for your listeners is that obviously the UK and the EU look like they're pushing forward with their carbon border adjustment mechanism, CBAM as it's commonly called, which will impact steel, cement, aluminium, fertilizer, electricity, and hydrogen. So this is one to watch for our manufacturing sector. MyNZTE, on MyNZTE, we actually have a great article on CBAM if anyone's interested, and potentially we could put a link as part of this video there for people to digest and get their head around. And lastly, just for exporters that are exporting to Northern Ireland, they'll be well aware of the I guess, slow progress around the Windsor framework, but it does look like they will push forward with a compulsory not for the EU labelling from October this year. So again, if you're exporting to Northern Ireland, that's definitely one to be aware of.